with our lovely full moon, we have some fascinating energies for my 5D mystics. For those of you who are inclined to be your own Zen master, so integrated minds, restorative embodied selves, the optimized version of being a human. The neuroscience community is talking about it. The good psychoeducator community is talking about it. And in fact, the good psychoeducator involves the somatics approach, somatic experiencing, sensory motor. They talk about how our lovely nervous system, so they know about the polyvagal theory and how the unresolved trauma, so trauma memories. There's many different ways we discuss all of these aspects. These are those human elements, how they play a role in our lovely spiritual, the metaphysics, esotericism, and everything 5D related. And that's because of the ascension energy. So people who know the term fifth dimension, they will have heard of ascension and spiritual process and stuff like that. So here's where we also bring in that spirituality. Lovely for me, Sadhguru is my spirituality go-to because he is of a lot of important pieces of information and the origins, not the ones who are doing trending topics. And it's not that the trending topics don't function, it's that they give us pieces of the information. So when I meet spiritual, I meet the middle. When I meet spirituality, it's through the way that a guru will speak to you. And I know there's many others out there, but they will all have the same message. And really any one of those concepts that wants to talk about consciousness, so in the metaphysics realm, which is where, as I was trying to get to, those ascension energies, while 4D community only uses the terms of dark auras or energy vampires, or that you're going through an ego death or dark night of the soul. And so these terms, they are not appealing to the 5D mind, the common sense person who has intuitiveness and also mysticism. So by channeling guidance, reading tarot, doing Akashic record readings, being an energy worker, Reiki, not to mention, the sad news of how certain theologians, due to their 3D nature and living in the medieval times, are doing their best to try and connect Reiki to actual demonic or evil. And there's a whole, obviously, list of ways that they can present references of, that's what it's called to be a subject matter expert of something. So again, 5D people, we have a relationship with information that is Mahasamadhi. Samadhi are the words I use because they represent the essence of when you are an independent thinking and feeling. Left is our verbal, blah, blah, blah. The right mode is our nonverbal, and so the sensations and feelings. And some people completely ignore the emotional stuff because the charges, they get justified. So here's again, those are not individuals who are taking their self and moving into the Enlightenment Soul Age group. So to become Zen Master, the reason why you are forgiving, as the Zen tradition story that Sadhguru gives, is not because somebody owes us something or we need to forgive someone. It's actually a very different aspect. It's knowing intuitively that we're one big ball of energy. So you don't actually think of mysticism or any of the aspects that come with clairs as something magical. And it's more of, this is part of our human nature. So you're connected to your human experience. You don't have to give that up because the spirituality process is actually a mind that optimizes using left-right mode together, integration of the mind. Your default mode network is downregulated. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, for the explanation as he described what the machines see when our brains are integrated. So 5D person has integration of the mind. That means all of our parts work together. We don't have a monkey brain or a dull brain or a butterfly brain or the one siphon that cuts things up brain or the, the other one. And these are mindsets from the yoga practitioners I heard about. The enamored with their own light. So that one's fabulous. I mean, you gotta laugh when you see a lot of people wearing mantles. Because see, here's the other thing. A 5D mystic will be like, you're not more special than somebody else because you have clairs. You're not more special because you're talking to me about a spiritual process. I think you have things confused. You're not hearing very well the people who are teaching you also about spiritual, because somehow you're not hearing a guru who speaks of we're 1 million breaking into pieces energy. Like this is the part where I know a little bit of this and that, but if you're going to stick to the empirical lists and don't do pseudoscience, just go to school, good academics, please, good, validated, university, PhD people. Empirical data is very straightforward to get. So if you want to talk to a person who has a brain, you go to the data people. Don't talk to me about stuff in the air and then you actually keep on wanting to insist that somehow you're understanding when someone says love means you do what you want to do, I do what I want to do, and everybody loves each other. It's a very straightforward conversation for a functional adult, by the way. As I was saying, forgiveness. We don't need to forgive people. People are people. They have a body, they have a mind. They have an experience called the body that stores the trauma memory that none of us, pointing finger, I know I don't know somebody else's experience. They don't know mine either. Which equates if I can unconditionally love, which is what, by the way, pure consciousness is. So again, a lot of people with their little mantles going around, every time I've heard it, even when I began personally with religion, I was like, God talks about love. I am pretty sure, and I told God at the time, I said, I don't know what your people are doing, but there's something wrong here because I think you're all knowing, all powerful. Like I'm thinking they didn't hear that part. Something got lost in translation. And now I'm here with neuroscience talking, which is amazing. You know what I love most about science is it proves things. So sooner or later, they'll be all over where we're all special. And so many people can just stop thinking that because they have found clairs that they are more anointed than some other people. And eventually, maybe, yes, the whole group of spirituality and religion and all these things will become a subject matter. And a 5D person is not afraid of that. Actually, you're like, well, didn't anybody think we were going to stay in the time of the Stone Ages? Is that something? Because see, my brain, I'm a very dumb person. And I'm like, I have a relationship with information. I don't understand how people are not figuring out that we keep learning new things. And I'm okay with not knowing anything. But what I do know is that you and you and you and everybody, doesn't matter what number, subject, no matter how many certificates you may have, you're not going to know everything. No matter how many clairs you got, you don't know everything. So the Zen masters of themselves, the Zen tradition story. This is why we look at the compulsive thief. We look at the non-disciples. We don't look at the disciples because disciples usually are walking a path. And if they are disciples, that means they're doing self-transformation. So it means they're moving into grown-up land with their emotions. This lovely full moon is bringing to those who want to enjoy life because they can use their brain, the cortex, to be in mindfulness and then to tell that limbic system, hey, limbic system, calm down. We're having a difference of opinion here. They have another opinion completely opposing you. They believe in this or that, religion or not, doesn't matter, whatever it is, politics, you name it. They believe in all this other stuff. It's completely opposite. You know what a 5D person is going to be like? Tell me more. And here's where, again, if we don't like it, there's Sadhguru, come on over. So what was it? Family. He says it's a training ground. So for 5D, family ain't a training ground. We don't treat them like objects. We're not going to try and study you. No, you're family. Bring it on. Let's have a nice one-to-one, face-to-face. Let's have fun. Words. But see, to have fun, you need to be empowered with yourself. That means confidence. It means emotional maturity. Forgot to say adaptive children aren't emotionally mature. They get rigid and their brain gets rigid. It's not the left mode's on and their body is completely in yellow. They ain't having a conversation. They're not having a good time. They're actually in the moment feeling threatened because the brain of ours, thanks neuroscientists again, doesn't distinguish between a belief and a physical threat. So unless you are engineered to harness your own mind, which you can, even in the absence of yoga, even in the absence of any education. I was a teenager when I shared with my lovely friends. You can't really be manipulated unless you don't have faith in your own brain and you don't know how to work with yourself. You do? You think so? Okay then. I raise my hand. I'm not in that boat. And you know how many people love to keep trying to get another person who says, I'm not in the boat of that? So there you go. You can work with your own intellect and emotional stuff, move into grown-up land, have fun. And 5D, that's why every year our ascension gets better and better. It's not something that ever goes down. And in fact, we don't have these ego deaths in the way that other individuals have. Now, we will talk more about this in the podcast only voice episode because I'm running out of time. But anybody who's new, FYI, this is for life-sensitive people, not ego-sensitive. We are all about compassion beyond a reason, silliness, pseudoscience, call it what you will. But we have fun with our lovely humanity and we expand consciousness always. It's infinite and it's amazing and it's beautiful. Optimize brains, optimize bodies, love, share the word.